Welcome to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. I'm Ted Bonnet.
I'm Phil Proctor, and I can hear myself now. But I can't hear myself thinking. I would love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able. I can hear what you're thinking.
What?
And what Danny's thinking. But, oh, no, stop. Don't think about that. I told you. It's too upsetting.
Our guest today, Danny Mann.
Hey.
This is our last show of the season.
No.
Yes.
What?
Just sneaked up on me.
I just made it in.
And we almost couldn't get into the building.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story, not worth mentioning.
Well, it is because it's the world. The door to the studios was locked from the inside.
Somebody knew better.
Yeah, thank God I had that policeman's shield and I could smash the window in.
That's right.
I saw that on television and I remembered it.
Oh.
Yeah, January 6th. Learned a lot on that.
Danny Mann. So nice to have you. You were on our very, very, very first show.
See?
Yeah, like you're sort of your pilot.
Like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
In a restaurant.
In a restaurant down at the beach.
JJ's.
Yeah.
JJ's.
Now,
Right.
Danny, your reputation precedes you. You are a voice man, actor extraordinaire, and you've been in all sorts of movies and TV shows and video games. If you talk to an engineer, a studio engineer, you were always their favorite when you came in. It was like, oh, Danny's coming?
Wow.
You had a lot of fans in the studio world because you're just funny, I hear.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, prove it. We have an
I'll
hour.
live up to that. Okay. Hey, let's go into the green room and let Daddy be funny.
You know what
for
I
the
thought
next
you were going
hour.
to say? That there was, when we used to do a lot of voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
Just a thing I always had, because probably from real life, you know me, what I'm like, is,
Yeah.
Somebody would say something, I would always have a button to it.
Right.
Somebody say the last line, I go, yeah, that's what she said, or whatever the thing was.
That's right. Buttons or something.
And I started doing it in auditions, and I started doing it on spots and stuff.
Yeah.
And Pat Fraley, another VO friend of ours, he named it. He because he teaches and he's written books on it.
That's right.
And I'm in his book of he Danny Manned me. It became a verb, like in guy.
So you Danny Manned that spot.
Yeah, and I became so. If nothing else happens with my life or career, I'm in Pat's voiceover book.
It's true that that's one of the ways that we would nail a job when we were reading copy and as an audition. If there was an open space at the end and you felt there was a nice rhythm and a little gag you could throw in,
and they can always cut it out.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's every now
Oh,
and then.
sometimes when I would produce spots and it was a kind of an out there comedy piece, you would hire the right people to come in,
Right.
Because they would rework it to their style
And add some comedy
and add a
to it.
lot of. Edie McClurg was a genius she's a genius at that. As, Billy West, another
Billy's all
remarkable man who can riff on anything.
Edie and I improvised together for years.
Well, what group are you with?
The Spolin Players.
The Spolin Players, that's right.
Named after?
What was the first name?
Viola.
Viola Spolin basically created the rules for improvisation.
Yeah, she put together, with some other people over a period of time,
notes
and it became, I think it's improvisation for the theater, became, it's a staple book now in universities all over the world. And then her son Paul took her stuff and kind of melded, so she kind of was the great grandmother of Second City.
Right.
She kind of put together the blueprints.
Yeah, and some of those rules are never say no, always say yes when you're, creating a story together.
Use the where, creating a a visual,
The Spolin shows are always really fun to go to because they're actually as visually exciting as they are.
Oh, well, thank you, yeah.
For the ear.
And you've been to many. Which,
many indeed.
Where can people see them now?
Well, interestingly,
peripatetic.
we're sort of, we're still kind of post-pandemic-y trying to find our footing. We went on Zoom during all of it and stayed there. And two of our players, Gary and Eddie, one lives in New York, one lives in Seattle. So we're able to hang out with them.
That's cool.
But we've done one show since the pandemic.
Yeah, that's what show I saw. At Antias Theater.
At Antias.
Right around the corner from where we're doing this
which
podcast.
is how I found this so easily. So, and we're talking about, carrying on and doing more.
Oh,
but
good.
It's we're all getting a little older, and it's...
Name some of the other people in the cast.
We got Pat Music, a wonderful voiceover talent, and mother of Mae Whitman, an amazing young actress. Gail Mathias, formerly of SNL and many other things. She's in a rock group now.
Oh, yeah? Is Anna Matthias in the company?
Anna Matthias, all the Matthiases are in
the
there.
two Matthias.
Yeah, spelled differently, but they mean the same.
Yeah.
So Anna Matthias, Donna Dubain, David McCarran, a longtime looper and improviser, Johnny Mariano.
Johnny Mariano is pretty amazing, isn't he?
Gary Schwartz, who lives up in Seattle.
Oh, yeah, Gary. I remember him.
Eddie Allen, who's back in New York.
Is it an inertia issue of not getting back?
Some of it's that, and some of it's just people's time and people are, know, their lives, and just kind of getting back into a rhythm. And
where do you do it?
Various
all over
venues,
the place.
yeah.
We counted
said Antaeus, but
that's been one of our more recent ones.
Yeah.
But over the course, we've been together about 40 years. Us and Off the Wall are
That's a long time.
We've probably played about 20 or 30 different venues. So it's hard to name one that we haven't.
Yeah, you'd
played.
have a run in one theater for a while.
Antaeus, because of Anna, became if a spare date came up. It's a bit of a tricky one just because it's a very nice theater and it's
Now, in your career here in Hollywood, it seems as primarily voiceover work, voice characterization work, and acting. You were in, you did a character in the movie Babe and The Grinch. You did God knows how many TV series.
Yeah, I had like two different careers. I was in production for years. So, early going. And I've often thought about this because my dad was an actor and we're Canadian. And growing up in Canada, most actors, even really, really good ones, it didn't pay like it did down here. So they learned to be much scrappier. And my father did radio. He was there at the very beginning of television. He did theater. He did industrials. He wrote stuff. So he was, I grew up in that environment of getting good at all of it. And, when we moved down here, he was primarily an actor at that point. But when I got interested in it, like, I always loved that about it. And over the course of my career, I've probably done like 9 different things.
That's really how you survive.
Yeah.
My story is very similar to that.
A Swiss Army knife of production and talent.
What do they call baseball players? He's a 5-tool guy, a 4-tool guy.
Swinger.
My favorite is always the French Swiss Army knife, which is nothing but corkscrews.
Your family legacy, you have your whole family.
Hey, listen, didn't I work for one of your relatives in my first off-Broadway show?
I think you told me this a long time ago, that you...
I worked for a man.
Yeah, Paul Mann.
Paul Mann.
So you worked for him?
He was my producer.
Oh, he produced or directed?
He produced it. I don't think he directed it. He may have.
Oh, okay.
It was called The Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man and The Barroom Monks, 2 short plays done off-Broadway at the Hudson Theater, I think it was. And that's where I met John Randolph, who was one of the producers. And
Connect is
years.
Paul visiting our place here years later.
Yeah.
Would often get in touch with his old theater guys and whatever. And I remember meeting John Randolph because...
What a wonderful man he was. He's been blacklisted.
As was Paul.
That's right.
Yeah.
And when he got his footing again, he had a great career as a character actor. And he was the godfather to my daughter, Kristen. He was a real close friend for many, many years.
So Paul started doing that first. So, their age difference was like 9-10 years.
This was your father's brother?
Yeah, his older brother.
Right.
So my dad was still like in school and stuff, and Paul, they came from a kind of a dicey family. There was a lot of issues. So,
in Tennessee, right? The Holla.
Oh, yeah. If you look up Danny on Wikipedia, it says not only he was born in Tennessee, but he shares my birthday, July 28th. And none of that is true, right?
And you've been so nice sending me gifts and cards every year, and it broke my heart. I did not want to tell you.
Well, I always heard that twang in your voice.
I know. It's Southern Ontario.
Right. And by the way, my daughter got married on July 28th so that I could remember it.
And now,
Isn't that sweet?
And now you have to forget it.
Yeah, and she married a Canadian. That's right.
Oh
she married the eldest son of the ex-premier of British Columbia, Gordon Campbell.
This is like that Tom Hanks movie with the order, and you go to the library and the clues and the thing and the...
Oh, yeah, that thing. But Jesus being married.
Yeah, it's like it's all connected.
Right.
So anyway, Paul got out of Dodge and went down to New York, and I always knew him as kind of a roly-poly, heavy-set
He was
man.
a heavy-set guy.
Have you seen pictures of him when he first got to New York?
No.
Think Paul Newman.
Oh, really?
Like drop-dead gorgeous matinee idol.
Wow.
Wavy hair, blue eyes.
Yeah. What happened?
Over the years, just whatever. All that stuff that you grew up with eventually.
He was
catches
so
up to you.
successful, he ate himself into a new body. Right.
He did.
I'll be a character man now.
And part of the Blacklist thing is, I think, he got very successful and had a movie deal, came out here, it caught up with him, and they sent him home. It never happened. And,
he was blacklisted?
Yeah. But then he also, in addition to what he was doing.
That's because they were after the communists, but Canadian started with a C, so he got on the list.
Yeah, it was a typo. He got blacklisted because of a typo. They didn't have liquid paper yet. So, yeah. So, and anyway, he became a very successful teacher and had students like what's her name in Chinatown?
Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway. Sidney Poitier was a student.
Wow.
A number of people.
Wow.
And
everybody who had a way in their name, Poitier and Dunaway.
Yeah, anything with A because he was Canadian. So anybody, if you said A after your name, he said, "Yo, you're one of me."
Dunaway,
Yeah, Dunaway,
Now, how did you get into what people know you most for, which are these wonderful character voices that you do in all these shows?
It was twofold. One is I grew up around that, so anything here's how you'll earn your allowance in our house. Besides all the housework, I used to run lines with him on everything. So I was always running lines, and here's this character, and you start soaking it up. And I grew up in a home where bedtime stories. All the characters had different voices. I didn't know that wasn't going on in other homes.
Yeah.
So I read a story. I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean? Oh, but then the monster came in." So all the listening to him. So I had all that in me, and he never really encouraged my going into the business. Like he was always talking about have something to fall back on, have something.
Same thing with me. Yeah.
So I ended up, I didn't know out of high school. I started going to college, so I liked writing. So I was a journalism major, but started doing some plays.
Yep.
And I didn't know what was going to happen down at the end of the line of it, but I
were following your instincts, and that was
but it was all in there, and I always liked it. So I ended up on a production trajectory. It's kind of do you want the hour version or the 10-minute version?
Like production manager work?
No, I
lighting.
So this gets back to Jewison, who's a fellow Canadian. So my dad.
Get back to Norman Jewison.
Didn't you?
We didn't mention.
Oh, we never mentioned him.
No,
I thought you mentioned him. That was before the show.
That was at lunch.
It's all up. That was how was lunch, by the way?
That was.
It was quick.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, I know. Clean up on aisle 6, 7, and 8, please.
So Norman Jewison.
So Norman Jewison was instrumental in all three of the man's lives.
Really?
So
we used to call him Normal Jewish name.
People thought he was Jewish. He ended up getting Fiddler because the studios had thought he was Jewish.
Oh, that's funny.
And after he had the
because
gig,
of Jewison?
Yes.
They thought he was Jewish?
Yes. So he grew up in Toronto. My dad grew up in Toronto. After the war, my dad got a job in radio in Toronto.
Yep.
And worked there for quite a while. He had a morning show at one point. He did news.
So many actors came out of that venue.
He had a morning buddy show where they did Man in the Street stuff, and his partner was Monty Hall.
Oh
my goodness.
Name drop, first name drop. So that went along. Then he did a year in Rochester. Oh, I knew you were going to do that.
Yes.
Doing like network.
What is it, Mr. Manning?
Now, who could that be?
Here we are in sunny Spain.
Oh, we're having too much fun. Anyway, so he did a year there, came back to Toronto, and TV was just starting up, and the station he had been at was both radio and TV.
Yeah.
So he kind of saw it coming. It was brand new in Toronto,
cool.
Just getting off the ground. And he had gone to school with a guy named Don Heron, who might not mean anything to you or your listeners. He was Charlie Farquharson on Hee Haw for years and years and years, which is funny because he was a Broadway actor, a Shakespearean actor, worked in England, but some guys knew him and knew he could do characters, and he had this farmer character. So they said, "Hey, we're doing this new show, Hee Haw. Will you come down to Nashville and do the character for us?" And he said, "I don't." So he'd come down, and they do like 70 of them.
Wow!
And send them home. And he was more famous for that than anything. But
sure.
So he had gone to high school with my dad. So my dad came back from Rochester and was poking around town. He went down to CBC to see what was going on, and he ran into Don. And as legend has it, he was having this discussion with this guy, this skinny guy, going, "No, here's the show," and da-da-da-da. He says, "Well, I don't really know." "No, it'll be great." Yeah, so no, you know who you want for that? You don't want me. You know who'd be great at that is Larry. And my dad kind of walked in on that. Why, here he is now.
Oh.
And Don, and so the show was, there was nothing on TVs, but they had this idea to do a show with puppets. So two puppets and a guy that would be the foil.
Yep.
And the puppets would play off of him. And first they just did What's On Tonight on this brand new local thing. And then it became a 15-minute daily show. And it was all current event stuff. It was satire on the news, but it looked like a kids' show. So kids watched it for the puppets, but they were doing like satire. So my dad became that guy. And he actually went, before it started, because he didn't know what he was doing, I don't know if they sent him down or he did it on his own, but he went down to Chicago and spent a week on the set of Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
Oh, I've been on that set, but it wasn't in Chicago.
Oh, I thought it was Chicago.
It was New York. They did it in Rockefeller Plaza.
Okay, for some reason I thought he said it was Chicago.
I was on a live, I watched a live Kukla, Fran, and Ollie. And I remember that the little stage was really elevated so that Bert Hillstrom, who created the characters and everything, could stand while he did the work. And Fran was really tall, especially to a 10-year-old,
This table was tall to a 10-year-old.
Everything is tall to a 10-year-old.
So this is early television puppeteering.
Yeah, so that kind of started his trajectory.
It was very popular all over television in those days. The Great Foodini, you remember it? Oh gosh,
it kept going. Even Uncle Floyd in New York, Floyd Vivino, he would do puppets.
Yeah.
Soupy Sales.
So Soupy Sales, right?
Did a lot of puppets.
White Fang.
White
right?
Fang,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, good memories. Then he ended up doing. He went from that, and there was a Canadian Howdy Doody show.
Oh,
you boomers will love this one.
Yeah,
the one here, Buffalo Bob.
I grew up on it.
They had a Canadian one, which I guess they got the right. Yeah, so Buffalo Bob was Timber Tom, and my dad was a character that wasn't on the other shows. It was Captain Scuttlebutt.
Oh,
my uncle, my unofficial uncle, Alfie Scott, may he rest in peace. Alfie was Clarabelle.
Wow.
And anyway, so that kind of started all the ball rolling.
There was no Mr. Bluster, right?
There was Mr. Bluster, and there was Flubadub.
Flubadub. Yeah.
So,
boy, people who didn't grow up in the peanut gallery like we did were probably wondering,
what the hell?
Are they making this all up?
And of course, we had them
yes, we are.
we had them at our birthday parties, and
we were talking to Danny Mann on the Sexy Boomer Show.
Oh, I was gonna draw the strings together on the Jewison thing. So, So my dad had met Norman there, and then when things got to a point in Toronto when everybody was coming to LA, and people were going, if you're so good, it became a thing like, if you don't go to LA, how good... Yeah. Canada had this thing like, instead of supporting and loving all their performers, it was like, if you went to LA and got famous and came back, wow, it was like, how about loving me here? And some guys stayed. Is
it an inferiority complex?
I don't know what, it's a pride, but it's also like, we love you that you're Canadian and that you're staying here, but
get
if you
famous
went
there, and you'll make all of Canada proud of you.
Right, and then you must be good because you were. It's weird because some people stayed and hung. Anyway, my dad did go there. Plus the weather. I mean, it's
can't beat the weather.
So Norman, because he knew him, was one of the first numbers that he had, and they please call me. Blah. He helped get him his very first agent, and within a year or two, my dad had done 2 movies with him.
That's wonderful.
Nice.
My dad was in The Heat of the Night.
Wow.
And then he was doing this thing. He called him. He said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Nothing. Come on up here. I'm doing a movie. I'll put you in it." Had no idea.
This was up in Canada?
No, this was
down
in L.A., but he was up the coast doing The Russians Are Coming. The Russians Are Coming.
Oh, he was in. Oh, I love that movie.
He didn't know what he was going to be. Went up there. He threw him, and he's in a scene. He just made something up for him. So
wow.
So he was in that. So I now had that number. Flash ahead to coming to the end of college.
Yeah.
I'm starting to go through that end of college panic.
Yeah,
like,
what am I
I
gonna
got
do
to
now?
start doing something soon.
Right,
I had one more quarter to finish at UCLA. I had studied TV. I had done all this stuff. And it was like, you didn't know what was going on. The Vietnam War was on. There was the draft thing.
You were in what college were you in?
I did 2 years at Cal State Northridge and 2 years at UCLA.
Okay, so you were right where the action was.
Where the action was, but still had no idea what my place was in it, what I wanted to do in it, whatever. Norman was living here. My parents one day, so we're going to this party at Norman's place. They're moving. They're moving to London because he's going to be doing a film over there. Didn't even say what. So we went to. They go to this farewell party. They come home. He says, "How was the party?" Blah blah blah. They asked about you. He asked what you're up to, what you're doing.
Yeah.
He says he wants you to call him at his office on Monday.
Oh boy.
So part of me was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool," and part of me is like,
What am I going to say?
"Why? I don't know what." I knew him, but I'd grown up with him.
Yeah, he's a friend.
Oh,
family
wonderful
friend.
guy, funny guy. Like the smart ass in the class. Just my brothers and I loved him because he'd make fun of my dad. He was just he was great. So I go down to meet him. My first time on a movie lot. I go to his office, and he pitches me this thing. He says, "Okay, so I'm about to leave for London. We're in pre-production on the musical Fiddler on the Roof."
And you thought to yourself, if I were a rich man.
Yeah, if I were a rich man, I wouldn't need this meeting. So I'm sitting there listening, going, "Well, how does this affect me?" But it's he said, so my dad's agent, who was friends with Norman, so he had a son. He said, "We've been over there, and Yugoslavia. They shot what was then Yugoslavia.
Right, Croatia.
They'd been on Recce."
On Recce?
On Recce, location survey. They called Recce.
Really?
We're going on Recce. He said, everywhere we went, we saw fatal car accidents. They had the highest per capita death rate from car accidents in Yugoslavia.
That's why they changed their name, I guess.
And they were bound to have. They had to have English drivers. It was all. But for him and Topol, who starred in the movie,
that's right.
I'm taking my own drivers. So I want to hire you and Danny to come over, and
drive.
You'll be my driver. Danny will be Topol's driver.
Drive, he said.
Drive, he said.
And that was your entree into the biz.
So I ended up spending 6 months in Yugoslavia,
Holy
getting
mackerel.
up at the crack of dawn, finding out where they're shooting that day, going over to his house, waking him up, get your vitamins, shove him in the back seat, and drive him out into the...
Did they drive on the right or the left side of the
Oh,
street?
normal, like us.
Normal.
Yeah. So I did, and that's where we really...
Or abnormal.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm telling you, there were mornings, and this was one of my funniest memories of Norman, is that there were these... We're driving through these little farm communities, and you'd be driving through fog, and all of a sudden you're in this little town, then driving out of it. And every now and then we'd come through, and I go, uh-oh, and he'd go to sleep in the back seat, but all of a sudden be like, what is it? And we drive by, and I literally remember this morning, like one day you'd drive by and you'd see apples all over the road.
Yeah.
And a car, half of a car sticking out.
Not horse apples. Okay,
Yeah.
real apples.
And he said, oh yeah, there's been another, he wanted to know what is it? Oh, just a car. We're driving through one morning, and I go, uh-oh, and he goes, what is it? And we come through, and there's stuff on the road, and in the ditch on the side of the road, there are 4 stiff horse hooves sticking up in the air. And Norman goes, any deadies?
Any deadies?
And I go, you got to see this. And he saw the hooves, and we were, talk about dark humor, we were laughing our asses off because it was so horrible and so frightening.
It was a dead.
Oh my God! Somebody had hit a cart, and the damn horse was lying in the ditch upside. Anyway, God knows.
Nay, don't say it.
Oh nay! Oh ye naysayers!
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, and he
So
threw me.
surreal.
He said, "By the way, grow a beard."
Yeah. What did he say?
He said, "Grow a beard. I'll throw you in somewhere."
Oh, sure.
And I'm in the movie. I'm right at the beginning of the movie. I'm in the medley where the rabbi's coming out of the temple with all the students.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the students. You can barely,
It's one of the best adaptations of musical out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And my friend Austin Pendleton was in the original production.
Oh, on Broadway?
Yes, and has wonderful stories to tell about.
Which I saw. That was my first Broadway experience as a kid.
Yeah?
Was see Zero Mostel on Broadway.
Ah.
It was a
played
very
Moidle.
good first impression.
That was a whole interesting thing, too, about him not getting the movie.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I've read Norman's books and I've heard him interviewed and stuff, and because I never saw Zero in it, but I understand from everything I've read about Zero in it, and he owned it. He was amazing.
He was.
It became Zero Mostel and Fiddler.
That's right.
And I understand that he started doing shtick, and he started doing stuff with the audience sometimes in the middle of stuff.
Funny thing happened on the way to the Forum, too.
So
he was one of the draws, really.
And I think for the film, they wanted to get it out of that claustrophobic. They wanted it more out in the world and in real locations. And Topol had been doing Tevye. He did it in Israel. He did it in West End.
Yeah, and he did it in Hebrew.
He did.
Yeah.
He may have done.
I had a record of that. I just sold it to somebody, but I had a record.
I think it was more of a universal appeal. And plus, he wasn't roly poly, and he wasn't so slapsticky, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was.
It was.
He was svelter.
He wanted the movie to speak.
It became, I think, a little bit of
I remember Zero was really working it when I saw him. That was so powerful.
He was.
I wish I could have seen it. It would be fun to see what he did, and I think it was very hurtful to him, and he, kind of. In fact, I heard a story, and I have no idea if it's true, but it's just one of those.
Oh, tell it by all means.
Great old showbiz stories. Is that after Norman did Fiddler, he did Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah,
covering all his bases. And Josh Mostel, who had been coming up in the world of acting, gets a call from his agent saying, Norman Jewison wants to see you for Jesus Christ Superstar.
This is Zero's son.
And apparently he said, oh, was Topol's son busy?
Wow.
I just love it, even if it's not true. It's just
You're listening to the Sexy Boomer Show, Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show.
Yep.
Here on KPFK every Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
He's Ted Bonnet, and I'm Phil
You're
Proctor.
Phil Proctor.
And you're Danny Mann.
Danny Mann. And you can hear our shows also online. They're as podcasts, and you can go to sexyboomershow.com.
If you listen online, you'll get hooked.
And you can hear everything you want. Everything we've done. We've got like 60 shows now.
Yeah, we're on a
I think
roll.
you're our 60th show.
wow.
Yeah, so congratulations.
You have 2,000 more to go to Ty Mark Maron.
That's right. That's right. Danny Mann.
Yes.
You have a funny Jerry Lewis story?
What are the odds? So, as a kid, I remember my dad got tons of albums in the house because he was doing radio. So we were always getting stuff, different musicians, whatever. And at some point, quite young, there was a Jerry Lewis album. It had the Noisy Eater on it, had all these different bits that he did. I think this goes back to Martin and Lewis Day. They were and then his movie star. I fell in love with Jerry Lewis.
Sure.
The Nutty Professor to me still is one of the best movies ever made. So I had a thing about him. So we jumped some trajectory here, but I ended up after Fiddler, blah blah blah. I ended up starting out working as a gopher, and then eventually a PA on the Sonny and Cher show. It was my first TV
Real
job.
national show. Great.
Yeah, and it was great. I mean, it was like if you saw the movie My Favorite Year, I lived that.
Oh, wow.
So my Peter O'Toole was, if you saw the movie, so we're on that. And I think in our second, and the show was a hit, and it was great, and they were nice, and all these, I had grown up around enough of the biz that all these different people that came in, some of them were like, "Oh my God, there's."
Yeah, that's right.
And other people were just like, and I learned just to be.
Variety shows
cool.
were famous for
Yeah,
that.
and it was cool. It's like you didn't want to be fawning, but every now and then somebody would come in like, "Oh God, pinch me." So at the time, Jerry Lewis was considered kind of persona non grata in the variety world.
Huh.
He wasn't. He had a reputation, and there was all this stuff, and he wouldn't do it. They wouldn't let him. There was this thing around him, but I think Cher ran into him somewhere and made a connection. Jerry he loves the show and and the producers and everybody was like, you can get because you couldn't get him.
Superstar then, right?
So all of a sudden there was a rumor. Then all of a sudden we were told he's coming in next week.
Oh boy.
Well, we were talk about everybody, like from the stars down to me. It was like everybody was on edge, and Art Fisher, may he rest in peace, our director. So we had the script, and they wrote some great pieces for him, including Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, where he played all of the dwarves. And so during the week, I did rehearsal hall. So I was there blocking stuff all week and making notes. So I was in charge of his script.
Oh, boy.
Because he was going to be there. He wasn't coming to where he was going to do one day of rehearsal, then 2 days of blocking and shooting. So I literally, he enters here, and in rehearsal, I was doing him. So, and because I was a fan, he'd walk over, "Oh, lady, because I shouldn't." And like, "Oh, what do you?" I played all the different dwarves and started doing him. And by the end of the week, I was, I was getting the laughs, and we were, so the night before, and I had all this crosses and all this stage markings and everything. So I had his script intact. So the next morning he was going to be coming in, and Art told me, "So we're doing this tomorrow. We're going to run the show for him." And he said, "I want you to stand in for him. I want you because he's going to watch it." So,
oh my god!
And I said, "I want you to do it." I said, "You want me to do him?"
Oh my God! They're going to make you do Jerry Lewis.
Well, not make. He looked at me with this devilish look in his eyes, and I said, "Do you mean do him?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Oh.
He made the decision like I would have wanted to, but I would have like not unless I have permission.
Yeah.
Because if I just started doing it, everybody said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he decided, you know what? Let's go for it because that way he'll see it.
Yeah.
The way it is.
See the timing.
He'll either
the character.
He'll either come up and punch you or whatever.
Right.
So the next morning rehearsal, everybody's talk about a buzz on the stage in rehearsal hall. Everybody's having coffee. He comes in with an entourage. There's hugging. There's it is.
Yeah.
He sit down. We start at the top of the show. We do one thing, do another thing, and then Cher is now Snow White, and I'm tucked away doing him. So she does it though. Oh, sleep.
Sleepy and
dopey, whoever she called for, and I go, "It's me. I should come in now, lady, because over." And I walk over to her, and there's that beat. Like he starts laughing. He does a pratfall, falls on the floor, starts kicking and screaming. We stop. He gets up, walks over to me, gives me a big hug. He says, "We are going to have a fun week."
That's a wonderful story.
Died and went to heaven.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was like, "Take me now." It was like, and the rest of the week, now we're best friends.
Oh,
so he
wow.
couldn't have been nicer, and he was great. But literally that moment, I met Jerry Lewis doing Jerry Lewis in front of Jerry Lewis.
Believe me, I've heard a lot of Jerry Lewis stories because when I was a kid, Alan Stevenson's school in New York, they were doing one of the first telethons.
Yeah.
And I was chosen to appear on the local TV station, I guess it was national, on the TV show and give him a check of money that we all raised.
In a
for him.
wheelchair or not?
In a wheelchair?
Yeah, well,
no,
because-
not in a wheelchair. No, I was a healthy young man.
Oh, good. I just thought
Right.
maybe.
Right. No, I don't have to be carried in
We
the
have
car
a new
like that.
total.
Right. So that's the first time I met him, and I ended up working with him
Oh,
on
really?
a couple of television shows, and we did become good friends.
Oh, that's
And then
nice.
he cast me in one of his movies called Smorgasbord, and ironically,
You just heard the only
Something
two
for
nice
everyone.
Jerry Lewis stories.
yeah,
really?
it's
Because I know
true.
people that have some.
I've heard so many horror stories about Jerry's bizarre behavior and everything. But yes, I also have warm, good feelings
Yeah,
about
oh,
him. He was a genius. Let's face it.
Especially when it's
and
someone
eccentric.
That thing too, and this we've all been through this, where you meet someone that you've either admired or as a kid even idolized.
Right. That's
And
right. It's that letdown.
Yeah,
and
shatters.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can like them doing their music, or you can like them doing their. It doesn't mean they're going to be a saint to you.
Performing for
when
you,
they
right?
are, it's gratifying, and when it's not, it's like you. At a certain point in life, you go, but it's a human being, and they're either, you can't
Yeah,
have it all.
yeah.
Be lucky that you've got their art.
Yes.
But
that's
when
right.
it turns out that they're a nice person or they're nice to you,
that's really
it's that
cherry on
it's
top
bonus.
of it.
Yeah.
So you did this. So you obviously have a terrific ability to mimic and impersonate. I mean, that
Well,
was
thank you.
yes. Talk about a little bit about your career doing all these wonderful voices and all these movies and television.
Right.
Anything particular you?
So anyway, the production thing went up to a certain point, and I got really good at editing, so I started doing post-production on shows. Eventually parlayed that into some directing, which was fun. I did two of your listeners will know, René Simard was like a French-Canadian Donny Osmond. And I did a ton of work directing for Alan Thicke.
Oh.
Alan Thicke, yeah.
And producing with him and writing with him. He was a wonderful mentor and a friend.
Thicke and...
So it was doing all of that, and then at a certain point, came back here, and to parlay the stuff I was doing in Canada I didn't really know if I wanted to keep directing. I liked it, but it just I was just
you wanted to perform.
I was at kind of a crossroads. I kind of wanted to perform, but I had a career going, and I was just sort of in one of those lulls. And a friend took me to a party, and I ran into a woman named Vanessa Gilbert.
Yeah,
a wonderful voiceover
right,
agent. And
wonderful.
She had been
sweetheart too.
Yeah, well, not if you're buying from her. Boy, we would have it out. She was
she was
well,
tough on that
she had
one,
been the
right?
receptionist at Abrams when my dad was a client, so she knew who I was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we start talking, blah blah blah. I tell her what's going on, and she had just been offered to start TGI, which was going to be the voiceover department of an on-camera place on Sunset.
Right.
Can't remember.
Tisherman.
This is pre-Tisherman.
Pre-Tisherman.
And she said, I'm going to have a bunch of workshops and just invite people to come and hang out and play around. And we'll just, and it was up at Fred Jones' old place.
Fred Jones, God bless him, God rest his soul.
And Phil Hartman would come and hang out. And didn't he do all your artwork or
he did
number of your albums?
He did the cover of Fighting Clowns for us.
Because that artwork was up in the lobby.
Oh,
so anyway,
great.
so we were doing kibitzing and stuff. And after a couple of those workshops, she said to me, if you want to do this, you have an agent. And I said, yeah, let's try it.
Perfect.
She was a great agent because she was a fighter for the talent.
So I was kind of lucky that I kind of had all that stuff already in me and knew how it worked, and finally got to do it, and it clicked right away, and it was like, okay, I think I'm doing this.
Yeah, I think I'll do this.
And and she's a music lover, so we
she was
hung
terrific.
out and sung. So I started doing that, and just my impressions.
You'd apply that to copy that you received.
Yeah, and just I'd see my dad do it. I did it. I loved it. It felt good.
What are some of the, if people might know, some of your favorite roles that you? Some of the
I would
roles.
say, I mean, probably best known for the Duck and Babe, which was an amazing experience. Got to shoot it in Australia.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
which was amazing.
Right.
And
you doing a voiceover?
Yeah, that's where they were based. That's where, what's his name? Who did all the Mad Max movies?
John, forget his name.
The director. This is horrible. See, I am a boomer. I'm forgetting. I should have made... Next card, please. Oh. So they were based there. So we got flown down there and got to hang out there.
That's amazing.
And
you worked as a duck.
Yeah, but... Yeah, so...
Great.
And it was, you were a duck down under. A duck down under.
Duck down
under.
Did you do an Aussie accent?
No, it was
just
it was
American.
By the way, just a quick flashback on voiceover, because I think your listeners will love this one. So my dad did a lot of movies, did whatever. When he passed away, the headline that it was on the national news, because he was the voice of Yukon Cornelius in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's on every year.
Oh, yes.
And when a lot of people didn't know that about him.
Wow.
And when they found out, like, I've had people come up to me and start crying.
Oh.
And like, I saw it once or twice, but people who grew up with it. And the irony was that he always had a bit of a, can I say bug up your ass on this station?
Yeah.
Well, you did.
Oh. We'll fix that in post. Oh, there is no post. Okay. They came up and shot that in Toronto for $1.09.
Yes, right.
And they were paid, and that was it. And it ran every year for 60 years, and they never saw a dime.
A dime.
So that always, because it was supposed to be a one shot, I think, for Westinghouse or wherever the sponsor was. It was. So Burl Ives.
He was
the American side. He made them. So. But it ran every year.
It's a perennial, yeah.
And I got very lucky. I fell into a loop group, a wonderful lady named Mickey McGowan. You and I worked together, did a bunch of stuff with her, and those
Disney and Pixar stuff, all of that. It was the entree. At least I cut my teeth on The Rescuers Down Under, and then Beauty and the Beast. And how thrilling that was.
Which I see you as both of those.
You can see me in both of those?
Yeah.
Well, I forget what I was playing in the first one, but no, that was Down Under. Yeah. Anyway, that's the wonderful thing about voiceover work. You can be seen in a million things because you're just being heard.
What do you order?
Yeah, I want one beer. No, we have
1 minute.
No, a minute. No,
1 minute.
Time's going too fast here.
Quickly.
Happy trails to you,
Danny Mann.
Danny.
Thank you so much for coming on the Sexy Boomer Show.
Thank you so much for having me. I finish your season with a bang.
Yes, we're going to have a lot of great shows that have previously aired and some treats. And we'll be launching podcasts every week as well.
And by the way, Sonny lived on my street in Benedict Canyon for many years.
Of Sonny and Cher.
And he planted these palm trees on the road up to his place, and he died running into a tree. Skiing.
Wow.
Remember that?
Yes.
Pretty ironic. I said, don't plant those trees. No, too late.
And on that note,
That's the big happy finish you're bringing the season to?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, it brought the end to a famous fight.
You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall.
You've been listening to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. I'm Ted Bonnet. And
I'm Phil Proctor.
Yeah.
We want you to have a great summer, and we'll rest up and come back with some more guests.
Oh, yeah, we got
And
some big surprises coming
Danny,
up.
you've got more stories in you, so you may have to come back and help us out again.
Oh, all right.
All right. Have a wonderful summer. We love you. Take care.
Bye, everybody.